Way in the back, can you hear the guitar? Way over there, can you hear the voice? Hello, hello, check, 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 okay? If you've ever wondered what goes on during a sound check, this is a very simplified version of it to get us going. And here we go. There's a house on a hill by a worn-down, weathered old mill in the valley below where the river winds. There's no such thing as bad times and a soft southern flame. Oh, Cotton Jenny's her name. She wakes me up when the sun goes down and the wheel of love goes round, wheel of love goes round. Love go round, love go round. A joyful sound. I ain't got a penny for my Cotton Jenny to spend, but then the wheel goes round. When the new day begins, I go down to the Cotton Gin and I make my time worthwhile to them. Then I climb back up again and she waits by the door. Oh, Cotton Jenny, I'm sore, and she rubs my feet while the sun goes down and the wheel of love goes round, wheel of love goes round. Love go round, love go round. A joyful sound. I ain't got a penny for my Cotton Jenny to spend, but then the wheel goes round, round and round, round and round, round and round. Hey, hey, there we go. Here's a couple of old ones that'll take you back a few years. That's what you get for loving me. That's what you get for loving me. Everything you had is gone, as you can see. That's what you get for loving me. I ain't the kind to hang around with any new love that I've found, 'cause moving is my stock in trade. I'm moving on. I won't think of you when I'm gone. So don't you shed a tear for me, 'cause I ain't the love you thought I'd be. I got 100 more like you, so don't be blue. I'll have 1,000 before I'm through. That's what you get for loving me. That's what you get for loving me. Everything you had is gone, as you can see. That's what you get for loving me. It's so nice to meet an old friend and pass the time of day and talk about the hometown a million miles away. Is the ice still in the river? Are the old folks still the same? And by the way, did she mention my name? Did she mention my name just in passing? And when the morning came, do you remember if she dropped a name or two? Is the home team still on fire? Do they still win all the games? And by the way, did she mention my name? Did she mention my name just in passing? And when the talk ran high, did the look in her eyes seem far away? Won't you say hello from someone? There'll be no need to explain. And by the way, did she mention my name? Thank you. Sometimes I've never thought about a lot of this music being very danceable, but we've got a group down front here tonight that's proving that it's great dance music. So if you've got some little ones that want to come up and join the dance club, that's fine. Bring them on up. If I had $1, if I had a cent, I would play most anywhere if it would pay my rent. I'd be living on the downside in my old apartment for the rest of my days. People always ask why the world is on the run. People like you and like me. Is it really true you can really never win? Moving to the upside, tell me when does the fun begin? Deep as the sea and as wild as the weather, we will go just you and me to pick wild strawberries together or be living on our own in a cabin in a meadow or meandering alone. We can face the world forever, or we'll hit the bounding main, or be on a railroad train. Hit the boundless tide, or be on a steamboat ride. Hit the bounding main, or be on a midnight plane. Hit the pounding tide, or be on a rainbow ride. People often ask me just the way it must feel be sitting up here with you down there. Let it now be known that throughout all of these years I have been wearing polka dot underwear. Deep as the sea and as wild as the weather, we will go just you and me to pick wild strawberries together and be wandering alone toward a cabin in the meadow or meandering along. We can face the world together, or we'll hit the bounding main, or be on a railroad train. Hit the boundless tide, or be on a steamboat ride. Hit the bounding main, or be on a midnight plane. Hit the pounding tide, or be on a rainbow ride. People always ask why the world is on the slide. People like you and like me. Is it really true there will be no place left to hide? Turning to the upside, when does the fun begin? Deep as the sea and as wild as the weather, we will go just you and me to pick wild strawberries together and be living on our own in a cabin in the meadow, and the cows will come home. They can face the world forever, or we'll hit the bounding main, or be on a railroad train. Hit the boundless tide, or or be on a steamboat ride. Hit the bounding main, or be on a midnight plane. Hit the pounding tide, or be on a rainbow ride. Hit the bounding main, or be on a midnight plane. Thank you so much. We don't have anything but good weather going for us here tonight. That's a wonderful thing. Here's a song just to make sure it stays nice and sunny tonight. Rainy day people always seem to know when it's time to call. Rainy day people don't talk, they just listen till they've heard it all. Rainy day lovers don't lie when they tell you they've been down like you. Rainy day people don't mind if you're crying a tear or two. If you get lonely, all you really need is that rainy day love. Rainy day people all know there's no sorrow they can't rise above. Rainy day lovers don't love any others, that would not be kind. Rainy day people all know how it hangs on your peace of mind. Rainy day lovers don't lie when they tell you they've been down there too. Rainy day people don't mind if you're crying a tear or two. Rainy day people always seem to know when you're feeling blue. High-stepping strutters who land in the gutter sometimes need one too. Take it or leave it, or try to believe it if you've been down too long. Rainy day lovers don't hide love inside, they just pass it on. Rainy day lovers don't hide love inside, they just pass it on. Thank you. Stadium security. Here's a song for everybody who's here tonight who's in love. Times I just don't know how you could be anything but beautiful. I think that I was made for you, and you were made for me. And I know that I will never change, 'cause we've been friends through rain or shine for such a long, long time. Laughing eyes and smiling face, seem so lucky just to have the right of telling you with all my might, you're beautiful tonight. And I know that you will never stray, 'cause you've been that way from day to day for such a long, long time. And when you hold me tight, how could life be anything but beautiful? I think that I was made for you, and you were made for me. And I know that I will never change, 'cause we've been friends through rain or shine for such a long, long time. And I must say that it means so much to me to be the one that's telling you, I'm telling you that you're beautiful. Thank you. All right, here's some from the Oldies Vault. Let's see how many of these you can recognize. I'm not saying that I love you. I'm not saying that I'll care if you love me. I'm not saying that I'll care. I'm not saying I'll be there when you want me. I can't give my heart to you or tell you that I'll sing your name up to the sky. I can't lay the promise down that I'll always be around when you need me. Now I may not be alone each time you see me along the street or in a small cafe, but still I won't deny you or mistreat you. Baby, if you let me have my way, I'm not saying I'll be sorry for all the things that I might say that make you cry. I can't say I'll always do the things you want me to. I'm not saying I'll be true, but I'll try. Driven a darkness over me since my true love walked out the door. Tears I never had before, driven a darkness over me. Clouds are gathering over my head that chill the day and hide the sun, that shroud the night when day is done. Driven a darkness over me. Rain is falling on the meadow where once my love and I did lie. Now she is gone from the meadow, my love, goodbye. How I wish your heart could see how mine just aches and breaks all day. Come on home and take away this ribbon of darkness over me. Come on home and take away this ribbon of darkness. See her lying back in her satin dress in a room where you do what you don't confess. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. She's been looking like a queen in a sailor's dream, and she don't always say what she really means. Sometimes I think it's a shame when I get feeling better when I'm feeling no pain. Sometimes I think it's a shame when I get feeling better when I'm feeling no pain. I can picture every move that a man could make. Getting lost in her loving is your first mistake. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. Sometimes I think it's a sin when I feel like I'm winning when I'm losing again. I can see her looking fast in her faded jeans. She's a hard-loving woman, got me feeling mean. Sometimes I think it's a shame when I get feeling better when I'm feeling no pain. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. Sometimes I think it's a sin when I feel like I'm winning when I'm losing again. Thank you. Picking up the pieces of my sweet shattered dream. I wonder how the old folks are tonight. Her name was Anne, and I'll be damned if I recall her face. She left me not knowing what to do. Carefree highway, let me slip away on you. Carefree highway, you've seen better days. The morning after blues, from my head down to my shoes. Carefree highway, let me slip away on you. Turning back the pages to the times that I love best, I wonder if she'll ever do the same. Now the thing that I call living is just being satisfied with knowing I got no one left to blame. Carefree highway, got to see you, my old flame. Carefree highway, you've seen better days. The morning after blues, from my head down to my shoes. Carefree highway, let me slip away on you. searching through the fragments of my dream-shattered sleep. I wonder if the years have closed her mind. I guess it must be wanderlust or trying to get free from the good old faithful feeling we once knew. Carefree highway, got to see you, my old flame. Carefree highway, you've seen better days. The morning after blues, from my head down to my shoes. Carefree highway, let me slip away on you. Let me slip away on you, carefree highway. Got to see you, my old flame. Carefree highway, you've seen better days. The morning after blues, from my head down to my shoes. Carefree highway, let me slip away on you. Thank you. Thank you so much. It is really great to come to a lovely park like this in such a lovely town and see all the families that are here. Think of all the young people that tonight are maybe for the first time learning about Gord's music. That's a good thing. Well, I got my mail late last night, a letter from a girl who found the time to write to her lonesome boy somewheres in the night. She sent me a railroad ticket to take me to her loving arms, and the big steel rail gonna carry me home to the one I love. Well, I've been out here many long days, I haven't found a place that I could call my own, not a two-bit bed to lay my body on. I've been stood up, I've been shook down, I've been dragged into the sand, and the big steel rail gonna carry me home to the one I love. Ooh, well, I've been uptight most every night, walking along the streets of this old town. Not a friend around to tell my troubles to. My good old car, she done broke down 'cause I drove it into the ground. The big steel rail gonna carry me home to the one I love. Well, look over yonder across the plain. The big drive wheels are pounding along the ground. Gonna get on board and I'll be homeward bound. Now I ain't had a home-cooked meal, and Lord, I need one now. And the big steel rail gonna carry me home to the one I love. Now here I am with my head in my hands, standing on the broad highway. Will you give a ride to a lonesome boy who missed the train last night? I went in town for one last round and I gambled my ticket away. The big steel rail won't carry me home to the one I love. Thank you. That is Steel Rail Blues. And we've got a good song for you now to play along this lovely spot along the river. Because if you listen very closely, getting a little bit later time at night, you might hear some Ringneck Loons. And we've got a song for you about the Ringneck Loon. Hear the call of the Ringneck Loon. Hear the sound, he will be home soon. Hear the cry in the afternoon. Ringneck Loon, he knows best. He's a loon and he don't care less. Ringneck Loon, away offshore. How could anybody ask for more? Hear the call of the Ringneck Loon. Hear the sound, he will be home soon. Hear the cry in the afternoon. He's a loon and he don't care less. Ringneck Loon around the bend. Being a loon since he don't know when. Hear the call of the Ringneck Loon. City life is what I see. City life is the life for me. Ringneck Loon, he knows best. He's a loon and he don't care less. Hear the call of the Ringneck Loon. Hear the sound, he will be here soon. Hear the cry in the afternoon. Ringneck Loon, you can't rest. You're a loony and you don't care less. Ringneck Loon, my old friend. Been a loon since he don't know when. Hear the call of the Ringneck Loon. City life is what I see. City life is the life for me. Ringneck Loon, away offshore. How could anybody ask for more? Hear the cry of the Ringneck Loon. Hear the sound, he will be home soon. Hear the cry in the afternoon. Thank you. We've got some songs that relate to the lakes for you, and this first one is about a sailboat that was called Silverheels. And for many years, Silverheels was sailed in a race very near to my home, going from Port Huron to Mackinac Island. And Silverheels was succeeded by a boat that was named Sundown. And then after that came a boat called the Golden Goose. They're all gone now. But Silverheels was as much of a cruiser as she was a racing yacht. And a lot of the cruising was done in the grounds near the lower part of Georgian Bay in Lake Huron near a spot called Christian Island. I'm sailing down the summer wind. I've got whiskers on my chin, and I like the mood I'm in as I while away the time of day in the lee of Christian Island. Tall and strong, she dips and reels. I call her Silver Heels, and she tells me how she feels. She's a good old boat, and she'll stay afloat through the toughest gale and keep smiling. But for one more day, she would like to stay in the lee of Christian Island. I'm sailing down the summer day where fish and seagulls play. I put my troubles all away. When the gale comes up, I'll fill my cup with the whiskey of the Highlands. She's a good old ship, she'll make the trip from the lee of Christian Island. Tall and strong, she slips along. I sing for her a song, and she leans into the wind. She's a good old boat, and she'll stay afloat through the toughest gale and keep smiling. When the summer ends, we will rest again in the lee of Christian Island. When the summer ends, we will rest again in the lee of Christian Island. Thank you. Here is the perfect song for a nice Thursday night in this park, because it's summertime. And this is the title song from the Summertime Dream album. Where the road runs down by the butternut grove to old Bill Skinner's stream, do tell at the noonday bell it's time for a summertime dream. In a lunch pail town in a one-horse way, you can live like a king and queen. Let's steal away in the noonday sun, it's time for a summertime dream. Birds in all creation will be twittering in the trees, and down below is a pond I know, and you can swim in it if you please. And if you come around when the mill shuts down, you can see what chivalry means. Let's steal away in the noonday sun, it's time for a summertime dream. On a trip on down to Wonderland, in love among the flowers, where time gets lost with no straw boss, tallying up the hours. Where the road runs down by the butternut grove to old Bill Skinner's stream, do tell at the noonday bell it's time for a summertime dream. Birds in all creation will be twittering in the trees. Down below's a pond I know, and you can swim in it if you please. And if you come around steal away in the noonday sun. It's time for a summertime dream. Let's steal away in the noonday sun. It's time for a summertime dream. Thank you so much. We do enjoy hearing that applause, and we love the work that we do. We play probably 50 to 60 shows a year, and we're in about 5 states. Now, this is the first time that we've ever played in the state of Wisconsin, so it's very nice to be here in Wisconsin. And thank you all for coming out tonight. Now, it's been fun watching all the little ones come up and dance to some of the songs, but we're going to do one right now where I would like to ask you to collect your children, because I'm going to talk about something pretty serious, and I think you know what's coming because you knew that I was going to do a Shipwreck Song for you, didn't you? You knew that was going to happen. So there won't be any dancing on this song because I'm going to tell you about what happened on the night of November the 10th, 1975. And just like it was in Michigan, it was that way in Wisconsin, and it was that way on the shores of Minnesota, because the Great Lakes had one of the worst storms that they had had in many, many years. You'd have to go back to 1941 or maybe 1913 to find a storm system that was as bad as the one the night that the Edmund Fitzgerald sank. You know, there's a little bit of reverence when we talk about this song because 29 men lost their lives that night in that awful storm. And I live just about 70 miles from where the Edmund Fitzgerald lies today. It's in about 525 feet of water. It's 17 miles just to the northwest of Whitefish Point in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. And you know, not one of those 29 sailors' bodies has ever been recovered. They're all still in the ship. And it's become their permanent resting place, and because of that, there's no diving that goes on there to the depths within that ship. Only very sophisticated equipment can get down that deep anyway. But they tell me that at that depth, the temperature never varies much between 37 and 38 degrees, no matter what season of the year it is. So it's very cold there, and that's why none of those sailors' bodies has ever surfaced. They've never been recovered. That night on November the 10th, the waves on Lake Superior were 30 feet high. The winds were clocked at 80 miles an hour. It was snowing to beat the band out on that lake. And only a day before, it had been almost surrealistically warm. It was a very balmy afternoon when they left your state. They left Superior, Wisconsin, and headed across Lake Superior to get to Sault Ste. Marie, where they were going to go through the Soo Locks and then head on downbound down Lake Huron. But as we know, they never made it. The shrieking of that wind must have been horrible. It was so bad, their radar mast was taken down on the ship. The power went out at Whitefish Point, and the lighthouse there lost its power, and they weren't able to get the power back for it. That didn't cause the ship to sink, but it sure meant that the Fitzgerald was sailing blind. They had no way of knowing exactly where they were. The Arthur M. Anderson was behind them, and they could see them on the radar. Occasionally they saw their lights, but for the most part, it was just radio contact. And the last radio contact that you may recall was when they asked the Fitzgerald how they were doing, and the captain replied, "We are holding our own." It was right after that that the Fitz left the radar screen and took a deep dive, probably between two very big waves, and just went down so hard into the base of that next wave that they never came up. They had their pumps going full blast, and they weren't able to keep up with the water that they were taking on. So they had had some kind of a leak, probably a stress fracture in the middle of the ship, and that was causing them to slog along very heavy and they were on a dive to eternity, is where they were headed. We've been very honored the last several years to play this song at the Great Lakes Shipwreck Museum at Whitefish Point on November 10th when they have their annual bell ringing ceremony. And there are members of the surviving family members of those crewmen that come to that ceremony. And it's quite a thing to play the song when those people are sitting right in the front row. You can't look at them. I mean, they're very emotional, but they're very grateful. They're very thankful to hear the song, and they appreciate it very, very much. Several members of our band, we have 4 members that back us on big concerts in the theaters when we play in the theaters, and the guys really look forward to going up there and playing at Whitefish Point. So here we go with the song that has become known as the anthem of the Great Lakes. And I know several members of the crewmen's families that live in your state, that live in Wisconsin, that come up every year to Whitefish Point. And I've seen them at some concerts as well. And this song is for them, and because we are here in Wisconsin, this is also for you. Here is The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down of the big lake they call Gitchigumi. The lake, it is said, never gives up her dead when the skies of November turn gloomy. With a load of iron ore, 26,000 tons more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty. That good ship and crew was a bone to be chewed when the gales of November came early. The ship was the pride of the American side, coming back from some mill in Wisconsin. As the big freighters go, it was bigger than most, with a crew and good captain well seasoned, concluding some terms with a couple of steel firms when they left fully loaded for Cleveland. And later that night when the ship's bell rang, could it be the north wind they'd been feeling? The wind in the wires made a tattletale sound, and a wave broke over the railing. And every man knew, as the captain did too, 'twas the witch of November come stealing. The dawn came late and the breakfast had to wait when the gales of November came slashing. When afternoon came, it was freezing rain in the face of a hurricane west wind. When supper time came, the old cook came on deck, saying, "Fellas, it's too rough to feed you." At 7 p.m. it grew dark, it was then he said, "Fellas, it's been good to know ya." The captain wired in, he had water coming in, and the good ship and crew was in peril. And later that night, when his lights went out of sight, came the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Does anyone know where the love of God goes when the waves turn the minutes to hours? Searchers all say they'd have made Whitefish Bay if they'd put 15 more miles behind her. They might have split up, or they might have capsized. They may have broke deep and took water. all that remains are the faces and the names of the wives and the sons and the daughters. Lake Huron Rose Superior sings in the rooms of her ice water mansion. Old Michigan steams like a young man's dreams. The islands and bays are for sportsmen. And farther below, Lake Ontario takes in what Lake Erie can send her. And the iron boats go, as the mariners all know, with the gales of November, remember. In a rustic old hall in Detroit they prayed in the Maritime Sailors' Cathedral. The church bell chimed till it rang 29 times for each man on the Edmund Fitzgerald. The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down of the big lake they call Gitchigumi. Superior, they said, never gives up her dead when the gales of November come early. Thank you. That's the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. All right, let's take a trip out to Western Canada now. We're headed to Alberta. Oh, the prairie lights are burning bright. The Chinook wind is a-moving in. Tomorrow night I'll be Alberta bound. And though I've done the best I could, my old luck ain't been so good. Tomorrow night I'll be Alberta bound. No one I met could ever forget the Rocky Mountain sunset. It's a pleasure just to be Alberta bound. I long to see my next of kin and know what kind of shape they're in. Tomorrow night I'll be Alberta bound. Alberta bound, Alberta bound. It's good to be Alberta bound. Alberta bound, Alberta bound. It's good to be Alberta bound. Oh, the skyline of Toronto is something you'll get on to, but they say you've got to live there for a while. And if you've got the money, you can get yourself a honey with a written guarantee to make you smile. But it's snowing in the city and the streets are brown and gritty, and I know there's pretty girls all over town. But they never seem to find me, and the one I left behind me is the reason that I'll be Alberta bound. Alberta bound, Alberta bound. It's good to be Alberta bound. Alberta bound, Alberta bound. Good to be Alberta bound. It's good to be Alberta bound. Hey, hey! Thank you. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. This is a chance to pay tribute to a wonderful man who wrote all of these songs. Every one of these songs that we're playing tonight was all written by the same person, and that's Mr. Gordon Lightfoot. How many of you here had a chance to go see him last week at the State Theater in Minneapolis? Anybody? Yeah, we've got some people. That's good. That's good. Here's a song that he doesn't do in concert anymore that he used to do all the time. And this is a very emotional song for him because it goes all the way back to a time when he lost a love, which was a very difficult situation for him. I come to this garden, I come here to rest, early each day upon rising. I think of my lost love from over the sea, and sometimes I've wondered if she thinks of me. I long to recall every kiss, every kind word. I miss her so much I could die. But the creatures of evil have captured her heart, and that same old obsession still keeps us apart. There's peace in the garden, there's peace in the air, peace in the sound of the river. There's peace in the meadow, the sun shines like gold, and if she were with me, there'd be peace in my soul. I long to return to the place I remember, the taste of her lips close to mine. I could do much better if I could be strong. Come into my garden, but leave me alone. I come to this garden, I come here to rest, just as the night comes stealing, and someone is weeping. I'm calling her name deep in the garden, deep in my brain. I long to recall every kiss, every kind word. I miss her so much I could die. But the creatures of evil have captured her heart, and that same old obsession still keeps us apart. But the creatures of evil have captured her heart, and that same old obsession still keeps us apart. Thank you. Here's the one that went to #1 in 1970, and this song became a hit because of the Great Lakes states. It was doing okay. The album was doing okay. The album was called Sit Down, Young Stranger, and this was a song on that album, but it wasn't the title cut. It wasn't released as a single. And a disc jockey at CKLW in Windsor, Ontario, thought this song was the one that should be the single. So he began playing it. And boy, the phone started to ring, and people called and said, keep playing that song, keep playing that song. Detroit radio picked it up. The next thing you know, it was being heard in Toledo, Cleveland, Chicago, Rochester, Buffalo. The record company pulled the album back, left the same picture on the front, but put a new title on it, and it was the title of this song. And Sit Down Young Stranger stayed on the album. There was no difference in the songs, but this became a big, big song, and this pretty well paid for the ranch, this song did. If you could read my mind, love, what a tale my thoughts could tell. Just like an old-time movie about a ghost from a wishing well, in a castle dark or a fortress strong with chains upon my feet. You know that ghost is me, and I will never be set free as long as I'm a ghost that you can't see. If I could read your mind, love, what a tale your thoughts could tell. Just like a paperback novel, the kind any drugstore would sell. When you reach the part where the heartache comes, the hero would be me. But heroes often fail, and you won't read that book again because the ending's just too hard to take. I'd walk away like a movie star who gets burned in a three-way script. Enter number 2, a movie queen to play the scene of bringing on the good things out in me. But for now, love, let's be real. I never thought I could feel this way, and I've got to say that I just don't get it. I don't know where we went wrong, but the feeling's gone, and I just can't get it back. If you could read my mind, love, what a tale my thoughts could tell. Just like an old-time movie about a ghost from a wishing well, in a castle dark or a fortress strong with chains upon my feet. But stories always end, and if you read between the lines, you'll know that I'm just trying to understand the feelings that we lack. I never thought I could feel this way, and I've got to say that I just don't get it. I don't know where we went wrong, but the feeling's gone, and I just can't get it back. Thank you. Thank you very much. Over the years that we've been doing this show, we've had so many people come to us and say, you know, I went in the store and I couldn't find a Gordon Lightfoot album in the store. I couldn't buy it. You know, a lot of these albums are now out of print. The CDs aren't even being made anymore. And so we had to establish a good connection, and we were able to do that. And now, if you like the songs that you've heard tonight, and we've just got a couple more for you, we can get you that music because we have a direct shipment that comes right in from Toronto. Comes in right over to that table over there, and we've got a lot of the songs that you heard tonight that are available on CD. This is my retirement job. I'm retired from a career in broadcasting and in the newspaper business, and now perform this show. I've written several books, and you've had a chance to look at some things about them in our program, and those are over here as well. And we've also got some shipwreck items from the Edmund Fitzgerald, some pins and magnets and that, so you're welcome to come over if you'd like, and we can take care of that for you. So here we go with a song that became a reality, written because of a babysitting assignment. The idea was that when Mom went to the store to do the grocery shopping, Dad's job was to take the kids to the airport and watch the planes take off, because it was something to do, and the kids liked it. And while watching the planes take off, that was the inspiration for this song. In the early morning rain, with $1 in my hand, with an aching in my heart, and my pockets full of sand. I'm a long way from home, and I miss my loved ones so. In the early morning rain, with no place to go, out on runway number 9, big 707 set to go. But I'm stuck here in the grass with the pain that ever grows. Now the liquor tasted good, and the women all were fast. Well, now there she goes, my friend. She's a-rolling down at last. Hear the mighty engines roar, see the silver wing on high. She's away and westward bound, far above the clouds she'll fly, where the morning rain don't fall, and the sun always shines. She'll be flying over my home in about 3 hours' time. This old airport's got me down, it's no earthly good to me, 'cause I'm stuck here on the ground, as cold and drunk as I can be. You can't jump a jet plane like you can a freight train, so I'd best be on my way in the early morning rain. Jump a jet plane like you can a freight train, so I'd best be on my way in the early morning rain. Thank you. Thank you. You're very nice. Well, for our last song tonight, we would like to leave you with a song that is really 3 songs into one. And it's a song that was written for a television program on New Year's Day back in 1967. And that was Canada's 100th birthday. And the CBC commissioned this song to be written during a program that featured a segment about the Canadian Pacific Railroad. Now, that railroad, when it was built, had a hard time getting enough workers. And so they used to get immigrant workers to do the jobs that were the most dangerous, and they did a very good job. And a lot of them wound up becoming pretty good stone crafters and pretty good at working with steel and metal and wood, and they worked border to build the Canadian Pacific Railroad. Those people were, as I said, from other countries. They were from Asia, from Europe. They had to learn a new language. They had to send money home to try and get their families to come over. And when they were finished, the ones that lived through it found themselves with a new home. Yet they were treated like second-class citizens, and people used to refer to them with a slang term because they were called navigators doing navigation work to build the railroad. They called them navvies. They were just navvies, they used to say. So this song is for the navvies. And I want to thank you for coming out tonight to hear us, and we'd be happy to talk with you afterwards over here at the table if you want to come by and have a remembrance for us about the great Gordon Lightfoot. Thanks for coming. Here's the Canadian Railroad Trilogy. Well, there was a time in this fair land when the railroad did not run, when the wild, majestic mountains stood alone against the sun. And long before the white man and long before the wheel, when the green, dark forest was too silent to be real. But time has no beginnings and history has no bounds. As to this verdant country they came from all around. They sailed upon her waterways and they walked the forest tall, built the mines, the mills, and the factories for the good of us all. And when the young man's fancy was turning to the spring, the railroad men grew restless for to hear the hammers ring. Their minds were overflowing with the visions of their day, and many a fortune lost and won, and many a debt to pay. For they looked in the future, and what did they see? They saw an iron road running from the sea to the sea, bringing the goods to a young growing land, all up from the seaports and into their hands. Look away, said they, across this mighty land, from the eastern shore to the western strand. The workers and bring up the rails, gotta lay down the tracks and tear up the trails. Open her heart, let the lifeblood flow, gotta get on our way 'cause we're moving too slow. Bring in the workers and bring up the rails, gotta lay down the tracks and tear up the trails. Open her heart, let the lifeblood flow, gotta get on our way 'cause we're moving too slow. Get on our way 'cause we're moving too slow. Behind the blue Rockies, the sun is declining. The stars, they come a-stealing at the close of the day. Across the wide prairie, our loved ones lie sleeping. Beyond the dark ocean, in a place far away, we We are the navvies who work upon the railway, swinging our hammers in the bright blazing sun, living on stew and drinking bad whiskey, bending our backs till the long days are done. We are the navvies who work upon the railway, just swinging our hammers in the bright blazing sun, laying down track and building the bridges, bending our backs till the railroad is done. So over the mountains and over the plains, into the Muskegon, into the rain, up to St. Lawrence, all the way to Gaspé, swinging our hammers and drawing our pay, driving them in and tying them down, away to the bunkhouse and into the town. $1 a day and a place for my head, a drink to the living, a toast to the dead. Oh, the song of the future has been sung, all the battles have been won, on the mountain tops we stand, all the world at our command. We have opened up the soil with our teardrops and our toil. For there was a time in this fair land when the railroad did not run, when the wild majestic mountains stood alone against the sun, long before the white man and long before the wheel, when the green dark forest was too silent to be real, when the green dark forest was too silent to be real, and many are the dead men too silent to be real. Thank you, Hudson, Wisconsin. Thanks for coming out tonight. Many thanks to you. God bless.